Hello world, Prince here, and welcome to my channel, Gentlemen and Scholars, where we discuss literature, style, personal development, and so much more. Alright, so for today's topic, we're going to be going over law number 1 in Robert Greene's The 48 Law of Power, and that is to never outshine the master. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. As previously mentioned, this was made law number 1 in the 48 Laws of Power, as Robert Greene describes this as one of the most violated laws. And I can agree with this statement. You know, I've violated this law myself many times in my life, and more than likely I will violate this law many times in the future. The goal for me is not to become this, perfect human being, but rather to understand the impact that I'm having on others and learn from my past mistakes, rather than other folks who sort of meander through life and make the same mistakes and perpetuate the same cycles over and over again. In the 48 Laws, Robert Greene uses the story of Louis XIV and his courtier, Nicolas Fouquet, to highlight the importance of law number 1, never outshine the master. In an effort to get into Louis XIV's good graces, Nicolas Fouquet plans an extravagant, lavish party for the king in hopes that this will strengthen their bond. Well, this had the exact opposite effect and led to Nicolas Fouquet being isolated in a cell and locked away for years up until his death. What Nicolas Fouquet did not know is by hosting this lavish event, he made the king feel insignificant and small, and the attention he received made Louis XIV see him as a threat rather than an ally. Now, the truth is, Louis XIV was likely chronically insecure to begin with. However, you likely encounter people like this every day, and you'll be surprised how easy it is to offend them. So I'll give a for example. I was once asked to go to a conference. In the days leading up to this conference, I was asked to, dress a little bit nicer. But what I found out was my standard for nice and their standard for nice were two different things. So while I came in a fully tailored suit, others came in button-down and polo shirts. In other words, I stood out like a sore thumb, and this had the undesired effect of drawing the envy of the men of the conference and drawing the attention of the women. If you don't yet understand the potentially negative effect this may have, I'll give you another example. I once attended a Christmas party for an internship I was doing at the time. During this Christmas party, I ran into my supervisor at the time, who had this beautiful young girlfriend who me and my +1 engaged in conversation. Well, during this conversation, she began to mention how well I was dressed, and I can notice a slight look of envy come over my supervisor's face. I'm sure you can imagine the negative effects this can have over your life and even your career. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. If you have any questions for me, definitely feel free to give a shout. Definitely subscribe and hit that notification bell. That is very important. And I'll drop a link to this book, 48 Laws of Power, which is definitely a must read for any of you men out there. And if I missed anything, or if you have any tips or stories to share, definitely let us know in the comment section down below. Until next time, gentlemen and scholars.